Hi, Toad64 here once again from PaintedPixels.com. Today I'd like to show you one of my favorite PC games from when I was a kid. I bet you'll never guess what it is. When I was growing up, my dad had an IBM XT, which by the time Ghostbusters 2 hit theaters in 1989 was a pretty ancient computer. I played games on it occasionally, but I spent much more time with my Nintendo than I did the IBM. But when I saw a copy of Ghostbusters 2 for the IBM when my dad and I were shopping one day, I begged him to buy it for me. Surprisingly, it's a really well put together game based on a movie, and you can't say that very often. It hits the major plot points of Ghostbusters 2 and has some fun levels based around them. The game starts you off in charge of busting the Scoleri brothers. It's here that you'll become used to the basics of ghost busting in the game. You move the mouse and aim over a ghost and press the mouse button to fire your proton stream. After a ghost is weakened enough, they will be placed over the trap where another few seconds of zapping will trap them. During this time, there's a few things you have to watch out for. First off, the thermometer in the upper left shows the temperature of your proton pack. If it gets too hot, it will shut down until it cools off. Note that when you aren't shooting a ghost, they will slowly regain energy. Another thing to watch out for are the projectiles being fired at you. If 3 fireballs or 6 slime balls hit you, you lose the match.
2 in the box! Ready to go! We be fast and they be slow!
The game will still continue even if you lose the battle with the Scoleri brothers and they get the judge, but you'll start the game at negative $10,000 instead of 0, due to the fine you were slapped with in the courtroom. Starting with the fine puts you at a severe disadvantage as you need $55,000 to reach the last part of the game. Anyway, when you've either won or lost against the Scoleris, you're back in business and in the firehouse with your choice of what to do next. Your 2 real options at this point are to either go to the subway and collect slime for testing, or to answer the phone and go bust some ghosts.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters!
Personally, I'd recommend getting the slime sample first, so let's go into a bit about why you need it and how you collect and test it. In order to get to the last section of the game, you'll need to have a slime blower built and filled with positively charged slime. It'll take $55,000 to get the slime blower built, and 3 slime samples to get the Statue of Liberty fully charged up. You get slime by lowering yourself over the river of slime and scooping it up while avoiding clawing hands and flying ghosts. Once you fill up the tube on the right, you can exit at the top of the screen. Each time you go to the Van Horn station to get slime, the levels get harder, so you want to go there as few times as possible. Once you've gotten a slime sample, you're not done yet. Now you have to test it on various songs and find 3 tracks that put the slime in a good mood. Press the CD player to bring up a close-up of the track buttons. Now select a track, then select the big button on the left-hand side to play it and see how the slime reacts. Now here's why this part's frustrating. It's completely random which 3 tracks will be positive and which ones will destroy your sample. So there's no skill involved here, it's complete luck. However, there is a way to make this section easier, and that's why I said to get the slime as soon as you can. As long as you still have Egon in your party, when you answer a call to bust a ghost, Egon will stay behind to test the slime. When you return, he'll have found one of the bad tracks without destroying the sample. You can keep doing this with the same sample, so go get some slime first, then do a bunch of ghost busting to weed out the bad tracks. Now I just said as long as Egon is in your party. That's because if you lose a Ghostbuster into the river of slime, or he gets defeated while ghost busting, he's committed to Parkview Mental Hospital. I'm pretty sure the order is always the same. You'll lose Winston first, then Ray, Egon, and finally Peter. There is a way to stage a breakout, but it's usually more trouble than it's worth, and you run the risk of having another Buster committed if you fail. So try to get through without a trip to Parkview if you can. Busting ghosts from answering phone calls at the firehouse plays exactly as it did when you fought the Scoleri brothers. The only real difference is in your payment. A job will either offer $10,000 or $20,000, but it quickly starts dropping as you fight. The longer you take to trap a ghost, the less money you'll get, and while the environments have a lot of neat destructible elements to them, the damage comes out of your pay. Your goal is to earn $55,000, and there are a limited number of phone calls. But as long as you didn't start the game by losing in the courtroom and ending up $10,000 in the hole, you shouldn't have much trouble getting the money before you put yourself out of business.
Oh, nice shooting, Tex.
So you've got your money, you've got your slime samples, and Egon's gone and built the slime blower. You're ready for the next part of the game, and unfortunately for me, this next part's as far as I can usually get. You start off your trek with the Statue of Liberty in a random spot in New York, and you have to guide her towards the museum before midnight. You have to navigate your way to the museum using the map that's included in the instruction manual. The museum's located on 45th Street between Polk and Park. The problem here comes from the traffic in the street. If you step on too many cars, you lose power, which makes you go slower, and thus making it harder to get to the museum. And while the rest of the game works much better with a mouse, this part will control much better with keyboard commands, and for some reason if I'm using a mouse it seems to ignore the keyboard. If you manage to get to the museum, you'll have a final showdown with Vigo. So that's Ghostbusters 2 for the PC. Until the new game came out for the 360 and PS3, I considered this game to be the most true to the franchise, really representing various aspects of the movie well. And while it's certainly on the short side today, I think it holds up really well, and maybe even better today for me than when I was a kid playing it. My old IBM didn't have a mouse, and trying to bust ghosts with a keyboard made those segments really challenging. Overall, the graphics are clear and colorful, the music is varied, and the gameplay has a good amount of variety to it. So thanks once again guys for watching. I'm Toad64, and I guess I'll see you next time on another